when you can give these tools access to your computer, that is probably not the first thing that you should do. I always talk about it this way. It's like, just because you can, should you?
Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back to She's That Founder. And if you're jumping straight into part 2 of this episode without listening to part 1, stop right now and go back. Seriously. Part 1 is where Elizabeth Goede, the AI whisperer, laid the foundation for everything we're about to talk about today. We covered the real risks of using AI tools in your business, why a patent attorney using DeepSeek should terrify you, the difference between learning models and language models, and why tools like ChatGPT and Claude operate so differently when it comes to your data privacy. If you missed all of that, this episode will make some sense, but that background will really do you good. So go back and listen to part 1, and then come back here. For those of you who did listen to part 1, welcome back. You're probably thinking, okay, girl, I get it. AI is powerful but risky. But now what the hell do I do about it? That's exactly what we're covering today. We're getting tactical. Elizabeth is going to walk us through how to actually protect your business, what to look for when choosing AI tools, how to create an AI policy, even if you're a solopreneur. And yes, we're doing that lightning round of questions. So let's jump right back in. Okay, let's talk about how to protect your business. Elizabeth's my girl, so a lot of this stuff we've been having conversations behind the scenes, so it doesn't curdle my blood. But at the same time, there's a lot that I've learned just from listening to you share today, Elizabeth. And I just don't want people protect your business. Don't need to panic. Everything's okay. So what can founders do now from an individual or a company standpoint if they're already in these tools? They're in ChatGPT or Copilot or Canva or Notion or, any of these tools that are foundational to how they run their business. What can they do?
Yeah. So I would say, first and foremost, if it's proprietary, private information, it's not public. So your board meetings probably aren't public. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you absolutely want to lock that information down, or at least the components of that information that would be proprietary. Think about your financials. Think about things that are unique to your IP.
And how would one lock that down? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think it looks like when you can give these tools access to your computer, that is probably not the first thing that you should do. It's sort of, I always talk about it this way. It's like, just because you can, should you? So if you keep proprietary information on your machine, I would not give access to any tool just to protect yourself, because you also don't want to hold the liability from one of your clients if some information gets out and it turns out that breach was from you. The second thing is, I think that if there are things that we control where we spend the money, and we control what tools we use. So doing a little bit of research into who are the founders, who are the CEOs of these companies, and just based on their behaviors and what exposure that they've had based on security breaches and things like that. Okay, these are the tools that I do want to use or I don't want to use. What types of privacy and protections do they have? Because of the nature of the business that I do and relationships that I sometimes have with people like the FBI, stay away from China. Any tool that is based in China. And there's a very quick way that you can do that. You can actually just look up the privacy policy and the terms of conditions, and all of that should actually list where the company is based. You can also do a search online. My recommendation would be that you certainly stay away. Any company that's based in China, because of the way that China as a government behaves, they have the ability to be inside of that. It's not the same thing as in the US where the government doesn't just get to be a part of our product. They don't get to just choose to get whatever information they want out of it. Yeah. We're very fortunate in that way. It's not that way in the rest of the world. Many European companies actually have very stringent laws based on data privacy protection. India actually has some of the most stringent data protection laws. So when you think about areas in the world where you want to use it, China, I would list it high risk. Russia, I would list it high risk. But when you look at things like the Netherlands or the UK, they're all based in GDPR rules. Look at who's running the company, look at the company's background, and decide where the right tools are for you to use it. Then when you think about the information that you're using, stay out of putting your employees' personal identifying information in there. If you want to write a review, don't use their name, don't use identifying information. You can use criteria about the job that they've done and things like that, but don't put personal identifying information in there. when it's your financials. Certainly, if it's just broad brush numbers where you're not actually saying what it's associated with, then that's safer. Just strip out the information and then you're going to sort of have to do the decoder ring back in. Or you can do things where you maybe make it widget A, widget B, widget C to make that mapping easier. But I would say like be smart first. And the second thing is if you have a little bit more of established business or you have very specific types of privacy concerns, then work with somebody who's going to be able to help you navigate that. When I work with my clients, we're not talking to the internet at all.
Mm-hmm.
They literally have their own servers with their own AI models, which sometimes have come from models that are available to everyone and sometimes are unique to them. They're literally able to do anything and everything they want to because it's only their own data.
It's a closed system.
Probably closed.
Yeah.
So there are obviously varying degrees.
And then what about the human connection part of it? Because if you're running a business, you may have other employees that are using these tools. So how do you guide founders of businesses to speak with their employees or set up the parameters by which other people use it?
Yeah, I would say it's employees and other people that you work with, whether it's your vendors, suppliers, consultants. You should absolutely have an AI policy in place. And the reason for that is it can be very simple. It can be very simple that just says you can use these tools and you can put this information in it. It can be as simple as saying, like, if you want to use it, just come and see someone. Like, it doesn't have to be overly verbose. We certainly have a quick app you can run through and get like a 7-page that walks you through all the criteria that would walk you through the logic of the things you should put in.
Yeah.
But ignoring it and not having, I had somebody ask me if they need one. And I said, well, do you truly do everything only alone? Like, do you work with a bookkeeper? Do you have a lawyer? You might think you're alone, but when you really start thinking about other people in your life, there are other people there. And you want to make sure that when it's your business, you're protecting the asset that you worked so hard to create, which is like all the pieces and parts that are there. So I would say at a base level, the grounding line is to have a policy that just is really transparent with like what's okay and what's not okay.
Awesome. So, okay, we've talked today about the world of AI ethics. Like, what does it mean when people are talking about AI ethics and security? We've talked about what could go wrong when you're putting stuff into these AI models. We've talked about ways to protect your business and to engage with it. And Elizabeth has given us a great background on the history of AI up to this point and how they came to be and how the companies operate. And you've given us some ideas about how we might choose our tools better. So I have like a few rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready for that?
Sure. I hope so.
Hey, Levies. I'm jumping in here real quick to ask you if you're tired of being the bottleneck in your business. If you're editing everything at 10 p.m. because your team can't capture your voice, you need to be at AI in Action, March 19th and 20th, 2026 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm speaking on voice architecture, how to use AI to scale your leadership presence without losing what makes you, you. You'll walk out with a working custom GPT trained on your voice, ready to use Monday morning. Join in person or virtually, but grab that early bird pricing now, girl, because it won't last. The link is in the show notes. If you want to stop being the bottleneck and start scaling your voice, come join me at AI in Action, March 19th and 20th, 2026 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Okay, cool. Lightning round.
Okay.
What is one AI tool you would never trust with your data?
DeepSeek.
And tell me why.
Well, it is an open source model, which also allows for information to go in, and any information you put in there, they own.
What's an AI tool that you use every day and you love?
Claude. I refer to him as Chip, and he is my work husband.
What is a leadership lesson that AI has taught you?
I think a leadership lesson would be curiosity, how AI can be a good sort of magnifying glass to curiosity. So I know that sounds like a weird leadership lesson, but when I think about the core values that we have, curiosity and the natural thirst for learning and knowledge is really important to us. AI has actually been a really great place to put people on a scale of like, are they willing to learn or not learn? Even though it might take longer to figure out how to use artificial intelligence, it might take longer to train it. Are they willing to sort of put in that work and be able to do it? Or do they just want to go back and do things that they've always done? And, it's like, can you figure that out from your team long term? Yeah, you can see that, but that has been an absolute catalyst to sort of like really clearly define where everybody's at on that scale.
For sure. You've said regularly in our conversations, like you help businesses slow down to go fast. And that sounds like what you're describing there. Okay. So ethical AI isn't about rules. It's about what?
Well, ethical AI is what is okay and not okay. AI as a humanoid can make you coffee. Okay. People would rather spend more money to have a human make it. AI can 100% look at a database and probably could actually answer a 911 call better than a 911 operator. But in the case of an emergency, people don't want that. So when we think about where ethics happen, we are the ones who are determining where the ethical boundaries are within artificial intelligence. And we are the ones establishing that as humans. And what's interesting is how much collectively we are very clear about where those boundaries are. It's not really gray as much as people think it is. It's very much black and white. I mean, we've spent a lot of time talking about the ethical sides of like, who should own us, right?
Who should have rights to my body or not?
Yeah, it becomes interesting when you think about even like parents, right? Because your parents led into your genetics. And as we get further into the future, thinking about the fact that in June of 2025, we had a team of surgeons in Florida provide surgery for someone in Africa 7,000 miles away. Like the world is getting so, on one side, is so exciting. I mean, think about the fact that we can bring life-saving surgeries to the most remote locations with the biggest experts, right? That is really exciting to think about. But then also think about the fact that cloning, right? We continue to have these discussions. So it's like the ethics are just because we can, should we? And I think that's really the best way to think about ethics is just because we can, should we?
I want to spend our very last little bit of time here talking about AI in action because you guys, I'll have Elizabeth on again and again and again. The reason, specifically, the reason I've called you here today is to talk about the AI in Action conference that is coming up in 2026. Can you share a little bit about it?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So AI in Action is happening March 19th and 20th in 2026 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We are going to have 12 action-packed micro workshops. But the best way that I like to think about it is, you've heard all the theory, you hear all kinds of keynotes say, oh, you could do this. And the opportunity is here. Even a lot of the things we talked about today was a little bit theory because we weren't actually doing the thing. I'm a big believer of AI allows us to do the thing, so we should do the thing. And so if you are at a place where you want to increase and improve the value of your business, we want to be able to use artificial intelligence to remove the crap that we don't want to do.
Amen.
Yeah. And so AI in action is really like all those strategies and tools that allow us to sort of remove those burdens from our life. So it's basically 2 days of practical application. This is like bring your computer. You're going to actually walk away with 12 implementable tactics and solutions directly into your business.
So good. And I also want to call out that it's a female-focused event. Now, boys, you are welcome to come. We are not saying that you can't come. We love you. Please come. But one of the things that I appreciated about you starting this conference, Elizabeth, is just shining a spotlight on women in business, women in tech, women in AI, and giving it more of a space and a voice because these tools predominantly were built by men and we need to claim our space. And I'm so thankful that you've created that platform.
Well, and Dawn, you're a speaker. I should also profile that. And Dawn was a speaker last year, so I'm so excited to be able to welcome her back. And, you're exactly right, Dawn. Women aren't given, we have discrimination in tech, period, like just at full stop. We can just put it there. We have bias in the tools because of that, because we haven't really been groomed or put in the position to be in lead engineering roles that allows us to really put our mark within them. But the other thing is we're discriminated on when it comes to stage time as well, which is when you were mentioning about the women. It's like, imagine the fact that women, we're really, really good at not only, we don't like to waste time. So that whatever strategy is out here came from a place of like actually meaning something to us. And we're really—
It was born out of pain.
Yeah, exactly.
Like literally solving a painful problem.
Exactly. And I would say the other thing is that women, especially the women that we put on our stage, they're really good at distilling it down to make it easy to understand no matter what the level is that you're at. And that was really important to me when I did this because AI really is a leveler. I spoke at a disability conference recently and said the awesome thing that's coming is AI can help us overcome whatever limitations we've had before because it will help us be able to overcome those. Now, what it can't do and what it shouldn't do, if we want to circle back to the ethics thing really quickly, is the fact that it can't make us an expert in something we're not an expert in. So the only thing you actually have to bring to the conference is the knowledge of your own business. And you have to know what it is that you do, what it is that your business does, and from there we can become a master in 48 hours.
Yay! Excellent. Well, so for those of you that are excited about this conference, and you should be, I'll have the link in the show notes. So grab the early bird while you can. And if not, grab what you can and get your patootie to Grand Rapids, Michigan in March. Elizabeth, thank you again for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge. It's such an exciting time for business owners, and especially for small business owners that are looking to scale. What AI offers is extraordinary, but thank you for being our big sister and having our back.
Well, thank you, Dawn, for continuing to give me some places to have a platform to be able to talk about it. And I think that your audience will be infinitely more prepared for using AI in all the right ways that they're going to be protected on when policy does come out. So thank you so much for having me here. And I can't wait to see you at the AI in Action conference soon.
Okay, so let's recap what Elizabeth just gave us across these 2 episodes. We talked about the real risks of AI, from protecting your IP to understanding why some tools are safer than others. We covered how to choose AI tools strategically, how to lock down your proprietary information, and why you absolutely need an AI policy even if you're a solopreneur. And Elizabeth reminded us of the most important question. Just because we can, should we? Here's what I want you to do right now. First, audit your current AI usage. What tools are you using? What information are you putting into them? Would you be comfortable with that information on a public website? And if not, it's time to make some changes. Second, if you want to go deeper on this, Elizabeth is hosting AI in Action on March 19th and 20th, 2026 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is a hands-on, bring your computer, walk away with 12 implementable tactics kind of conference. It's a get her done on the weekend situation. And I'm speaking there on voice architecture, how to use AI to scale your leadership presence without losing what makes you, you. You'll build a custom GPT trained on your voice, live in the session, ready to use on Monday morning. You can attend in person or virtually, but grab early bird pricing now because it won't last. The link is in the show notes. And third, if you found this conversation valuable, share it with another founder who needs to hear this. We need more women in business who understand AI ethics and security, not fewer. And tag me on LinkedIn and let me know what your biggest takeaway was. And finally, Elizabeth, girl, thank you for being my big sister, for being our big sister in this AI security space, for having our backs and making AI feel less overwhelming and more strategic. You are a gift. To everyone listening, this is exactly the kind of conversation that helps you build a business that could run without you full-time, because you're making smart, strategic decisions about the tools you use and how you protect what you've built. Until next time, stay strategic, stay protected, and stay that founder. Keep building, lovies. I'll see you next time.